So, did you know that American Horror Story Freak Show was based off of a real place? Gibtown or Gibsonton, Florida, is about 10 miles south of Tampa, and it was established as a place for people who travel with the carnival to live when they weren't traveling with the carnival. Al and Jeannie were the first of the carnival folks to settle in Gibtown. Al was the tall man, and Jeannie had lost her leg, so she was a half woman. And a big part of this story is about how people with disabilities were fleeing Europe because of the Nazis and eugenics. They were trying to eliminate anyone who had a disability, and sideshows are comprised of people with disabilities. So a lot of these people put together their shows in order to find a way to make money, but also travel and get out of Europe. So these sideshows weren't as big in Europe, but when they came to America, they really took off. So this Icelandic tall man finds his way to America, and he reconnects with people that he had been traveling with previously and finds out that other people that he knew and traveled with had been eliminated by the Nazis. I think that this really made him want to find a place for his own family, where they could be safe and not have to run in fear anymore. And for some reason, that ended up being Florida, which I don't think that's a safe place for people with disabilities, but I digress. As more and more people from the circus and carnival found their way to Gibtown, things started to change as the town grew. Like laws changed where you could keep larger animals like lions, tigers, bears, elephants in your home. You could keep large trailers that you would normally see for circuses. And there were a lot of little things in the town, like low counters in the restaurants and bars, so that in the bank, so that little people who usually traveled with the circus, who had settled there, all had an even counter to order from, which I thought was nice. My brother found his way there years ago and said that there were little cul-de-sacs of smaller homes. He might have been messing with me, or it might be real, that they had their own area for little people to have everything be adjusted to their size to be convenient to them. And like American Horror Story, Gibsontown had no shortage of true crime and drama. Have you heard of the Lobster Boy murders? Grady Lobster Boy Styles and his entire family had a rare genetic disorder that made his hands in the shape of claws. Apparently, he was an alcoholic and he was very physically abusive to everyone in his family. He ended up taking the life of his daughter's fiance or husband, and then they put him in prison, but because of his disability, they didn't know how to take care of him, so he was released. It was a lot. Over the years, the town became a sanctuary for people who worked in the carnival, but a lot of those people really just had disabilities that were not addressed or that they didn't have the funds to get medical care for. And as laws changed around disabilities, they were now able to access disability funds and get more medical help. And the people who were exploiting these people for the carnival have even admitted that things changed over time. And by the 90s and 2000s, there had been too much progress in medicine as well as progress on the side of working for disability rights that people were not having to go to be a carnival sideshow anymore. Some carnies say that they were empowering these people with disabilities, but in the long run, it was not great for them to be on the road all the time without access to proper medical care. I also feel like TV channels like TLC have stepped in to replace the carnies by exploiting people with disabilities and showcasing them in a more global arena where they can be a spectacle, but they're getting paid to be a spectacle. It puts them in the same position as some of these people who worked in the carnivals. It does seem like technology, medical technology, and advances in disability rights have changed the town overall, because a lot of the people who moved there to be part of the sideshow family that was being built there have passed away or moved on. So now it's just kind of like any old town in Florida. I do want to warn you, if you do go looking for information about this town or photos from this town, you're going to be met with a lot of ableism and a lot of slurs, because that's just how people were talking about these people at that time. And I don't recommend it, but I just kind of want to give you a heads up if you're going to look more into it. And I do find something a little bit sad about American Horror Story Freak Show being based off of a real place and real people, because this was a place that they wanted to be their sanctuary from being the freak show, and now the place itself was being glorified as a freak show. But It was a real place, and there's a reason that all of these places reference each other, because a lot of it is based in real history, things that happened. So that's the story of the town in Florida that was built for carnies. If you like deep dives like this, make sure you're following me for more.